This is a piano tutorial this time for Fly Me to the Moon as a piano accompanist. So because you are playing as an accompanist, you do not need to play the melody. In the right hand plays the chord. Somebody's singing it. And left hand plays the root note of the chord down low as a bass note. So I'll show you the chords first. And sometimes I'm going to show you a simpler chord and a more advanced chord if you're more advanced. The first chord is an A minor chord. So you could do C, E, and A, but if you wanted to make that into a seventh, minor seventh, you add that G. So it's C, E, A, C, E, G, and A. Fly me to the moon. That's a D minor chord, D, F, and A. If you want to turn that into a seventh, you add that C. So it's fly me to the moon, let me play. That's a regular G7 chord. B, D, F, G, among the stars. That's a C 7 chord, C major 7, which is adding this note. So it's G, E. Doesn't have the C note in it because it's got that. Or you can just do regular C chord there. You add that is followed by C7, which adds this B flat. So you could do let me play among the stars. So C7 on the second part of that measure. Let me see, that's an F chord. A, C, F. Let me see what spring is like. That's a B minor. B, D, F sharp. Add that A, it's a B minor 7th. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter. That's E7. G sharp, B, D. That's a E7. Jupiter and Mars, A minor, A, C, E, A7, G, A, C sharp, and E. In other words, D minor, which would be A, F, A, D, F, add that C, it's a minor 7th, D minor 7th. In other words, G7, G, B, D, F, hold my hand. There's a C chord. In other words, D minor, A, D, F, G7, G, B, D, F. Darling, kiss me. That's a C chord, G, C, E. There's an E7, B, D, E, G sharp. Kiss me. A minor. The A minor would be C, E, A. Add that note, G, and it's an A minor 7. Fill my heart with song. There's a D minor, D, F, A. Add that, it's a 7th. And let me sing. There's a G7, G, B, D, F, forevermore. C major 7th, G, B, E. C7 is G, B flat, C, E. F, you are all I, that's A, C, F. You are all I long for. There's a B minor, which is B, D, F sharp. Add that A, it's a 7th. Long for all I worship. There's a E7, B, D, E, G sharp. Worship and adore. A minor, A, C, E. A7, G, A, C sharp, and E. In other words, a D minor again, A, D, F, add that, it makes it a 7th. Other words, G7, please be true. E minor, or E minor 7th. E minor is B, E, G, add that, that's a 7. A7, A, C sharp, E, G. In other words, that's a D minor, A, D, F. If you add that, it's a 7th. G7, G, B, D, F, I love you. C chord. If you're repeating it, you go back with that E7 chord and it starts again. Fly me to the moon. The second ending is like this. In other words, G7, please be true. There's your C major 7th again. G, B, E, C7, G, B flat, C, E. In F, A, C, F, G7, I love you, and it ends on a C chord. So, those are the chords. Always work on it hands alone. Once you've got those chords down, the only thing you need to add is the root note down low is a bass note. So when I'm playing that A minor chord, you play an A. When I got a D minor chord, I do the D. When I'm doing G7, whatever the notes, the chord's named for, that's what you play down low as your root note. And by the way, if you're playing in a band with a bass player, you might as well put your left hand in your pocket. Nobody's going to hear that anyway. But as a soloist, you're going to do it like this. So here is the here it is when you're all done. What it sounds like. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, let me see